After an eventful second day at Headingley, it's time for Ask George.
You don't get that anywhere else anymore, you know. Anyway.
Well, hello, George. There's been another exciting day at the test for you.
Crazy day. I've no idea what's going on most of the time. It's brilliant, isn't it? I think sometimes you just got to throw analysis out the window. Just let the enjoyment wash over you.
Well, Hupp asks, will England ever give us a normal day of test cricket again?
Well, what's normal? So here's a theory. England changing the game in a way that England might never have done previously since Bodyline. I don't know, it's probably premature to say that, but it's just mad what they're doing. I think I didn't I say last week, it's like they have a poker evening that starts at 7 o'clock, and by 7:05, they've lost all their money, their car and their kidneys. That's what it feels like. It's just they're all in, all the time. Brilliant. It's mental. It's brilliant.
Well, Ben asks, why did they never play like this for Joe Root?
I saw that question. I mean, didn't they, what was that game here? That game against Australia here, 2019. That was quite good, wasn't it? And I saw them whitewash Sri Lanka, and I saw them beat South Africa and South Africa. You know, there were lots of good things happened under Joe Root. It didn't end great, but I think that's a bit harsh. I've never seen Test cricket played like this before. Not all the time. It's, you know, you've seen sessions, you see innings, but this is absolutely crazy. It's relentless. It's like the Rocky films compared to real boxing. Amazing.
Well, Michael Penhale, he's feeling positive about England. He asks, can we somehow freeze Johnny Bairstow in this sort of form forever? Because Michael could watch him bat like this forever.
Well, it's probably worth remembering for all of us, I mean this myself as much as anyone, that you can't get away with what he's doing all the time. There are going to be days when, you know, he edges, and he could have gone 2 or 3 times quite early today. So if this is how they're encouraging him to play, and if this is how they get the best out of him, I think we're going to have to learn to take the rough with the smooth a bit. Doesn't mean, you know, you just got a license to be completely reckless. But they seem to have tapped into a way to allow him to unleash the enormous talent that's there, and it's lovely to see. He's a really interesting player in lots of ways. One of the things you notice with Johnny Bairstow is he's terribly popular with crowds who go to cricket, and he's not that popular with people follow on maybe TV and Twitter and things like that. And I think that's quite interesting, and I can see how he could come across as maybe a wee bit chippy. But actually, I think there's just a sort of awkwardness and some insecurity or whatever. But actually, there's a very nice person, very generous-spirited person there, who doesn't maybe always come across, but he's always the first to be giving shirts away, giving kit away to crowds. He's always the one who comes out to say thank you even when they lose. I think he was the only one who did it in the Caribbean, you know, but I'm sure he was. So there's a lot to like about Johnny Bairstow, and whatever they've done to tap into it, you're seeing a really good player, and a fantastic vein of form at the moment. I mean, I said last week he's batting like Viv Richards. He's done it again. There's no higher praise.
PL asks, is Ben Stokes in danger of not doing himself justice with the bat? He's a top-rate batter, not a number 9 biffer.
Good question. That's a really well-put question. He came out today like a man who wanted to make a statement, not 100. And I think he's better than that. You know, sometimes... So England got away with it again today, and that's brilliant. But I think they could have done even better if maybe... It's churlish, doesn't it, to say? But had they played off the new ball just a little bit more conventionally, you'd have to say that there was some top bowling at the start of the innings, wouldn't you? I'm not sure that Alex Lees or Joe Root could have done a great deal about their wickets. But Crawley and Pope, you know, they're pushing, they're looking for runs. Obviously, it's a good thing to look for runs, but if a bowler's swinging the new ball like that, if he's getting some assistance, you've got to show them some respect. And I think sometimes some of that top order batting, including Ben Stokes, wasn't massively respectful. It was just trying so hard to dominate. And sometimes you've got to invest in the innings a little bit before doing that. And obviously, batting gets a great deal easier when the ball is softer, when it stops swinging. And we saw Jamie Overton and Johnny Bairstow capitalise on that this evening. But, you know, Ben looked a little bit over-eager to make a statement, as I say, and sometimes you're going to have to just take a slightly more sophisticated approach. There's obviously a lot to like and admire in Ben Stokes, and he got it a wee bit wrong today. That's the thing. I think my piece this evening is basically that this is probably a transitional phase. England are still learning how the new sports car works, yeah? And sometimes they're a little bit hard on the accelerator. But yeah, I mean, it's such fun that who cares?
JB takes us to a question I think I've asked you every test so far this summer. Does Zach Crawley make the next test, or will he be replaced?
Well, you have asked me that, but it's not very many days ago, is it, that you asked me that about Johnny Bairstow, and I said to you the day before his century at Trent Bridge, this time tomorrow we could be talking about Johnny Bairstow as player of the match. And the question's a bit different with Zach Crawley, because Johnny Bairstow at that stage, I think, has scored 2 centuries in 5 or 6 tests. You know, he had done okay. Now he's got 4 in 7. Zach Crawley hasn't got that track record behind him, and yeah, it's fair to say he is beginning to run out of chances. But I don't think today's the day for that conversation. But you know, it's a legitimate point. Zach Crawley has been given quite a lot of leeway, quite a lot of time, and he's not looking as if he's got the technique of a test opener in particular, is he?
Well, Joel Edwards takes us to the bowling side of things. He asks, was Jack Leach's 5-foot a coming-of-age performance for him in England?
What a good question. God, I mean, that seems like a different lifetime, how Jack Leach taking a 5-foot thing, doesn't it? It was a really, from Jack Leach in particular, it was an oddly conservative performance amid the amazing flamboyance of the rest of the England side, wasn't it? He basically bowled line and length, a little bit of spin, same pace, pretty much. He just did a professional, tidy job and ended up with the 5-foot. That's not a criticism, by the way. I think there's lots and lots of time for competence. Was it a coming of age moment? I don't know. Yes, it probably was, to be fair. I think he's only played 8 tests in England. And I know this is unfashionable, but there is still a role to play for a sort of holding bowler. And I'm not sure that Matt Parkinson could have played that role. So, you know, there'll be good days and bad in Jack Leach's career. He obviously isn't the big. He's not Graham Swan. He's not Moeen Ali in some ways, but there are a lot of qualities there. And he's a lot tougher than people make out. And yeah, he definitely has deserved his day in the sun today. And his tight bowling has kept England in the game, and actually is part of the reason they still have a chance of winning it. It's not been the headline performance, has it? But it's been a really valiant performance.
And the final question today comes from Robert Barlow. He asks, if I have 10 pints tonight, am I likely to score double figures tomorrow?
Go ahead and express yourself, Bobby Barlow. I mean, I don't know what level you're playing in. 10's quite a lot of pints. You know, and I think have as many. I mean, why set it at 10? You know, if you want to stop at 7, but I would say maybe move on to rum. I find it a much more forgiving drink, you know? So maybe think about that. Maybe change it up a bit. You know, does it always have to be pints? Huh? What about wine? I like a carafe of wine. There's something so much less intimidating than ordering a bottle. It's not exactly intimidating. I feel like less of an alcoholic.
I feel like if I had 10 pints before I played, I'd probably be dead.
Well, I don't think he's talking right before he played. I mean, presumably the game started tomorrow lunchtime, tomorrow afternoon. I don't think he's talking about tomorrow morning. He's talking about this evening. I think you've probably got to relax and enjoy life. And yeah, I think you should go out and enjoy it. Do it. And if it doesn't work out, come back to me and I'll give you your money back. I won't really.